Hi everyone, this is Fiona from genealogyhangout.com and welcome. This is another one of the snappy learn quick all about genealogy and family history, ancestry. So welcome. I'm Fiona Tellesson and I'm the founder of genealogyhangout.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about how you can find the birth details of your family when you don't have the information in front of you, and that is like a birth certificate. So for some reason you don't have it, you know the person's been born, and I'm going to give you some quick and snappy tips about how to find this information. So if you're listening to a podcast or you're watching, grab a pen and paper because you're going to need it. If you're listening to the podcast, I think you're going to be impressed. Well, that's the hope anyway. So one of the first things I'd like to tell you is that if you're looking for some family a couple of generations back, there's been a fantastic site developed. It's called Free BMD, and I will put the link in the video, and I'll also put information on the transcript. So Free BMD, and that's for the UK. So this is just for the UK for the moment, so I'm going to talk about that first. So this is a free site, and there's been people from all over the world that have indexed the registers of births, marriages and deaths in the UK, but I'm only talking about the births at the moment. So you can actually check for the births of people, and it's in about the early 1900s at the moment, and it's progressing bit by bit, and they're not quite as hung up as some countries are where there's a 100-year rule. So you might be able to find these people if they're born in the UK. And what you need to do is put the information that you might know, and if it's a little bit too broad, if you say, for example, Cornwall, and then it says too many hits, you might have to try the village or the nearest village in the county. It's a little bit of hit and miss, but the more you do it, the more competent you become. And one of the things you can do is you can post a notification on that site in regards to the information that's on there. So if you're searching for the common name, I've been searching for Harry, Harry, and you get lots and lots of hits. You can actually, because there might have been a lot of cousins in the area, you can actually put the details and let someone know that you're searching for Joseph Harry born in St Hilary, and give the approximate time, year, and parents' names if you happen to know them, or just a little bit of information. And hopefully someone else will come across that and contact you. So that's for the site Free Births, Marriages and Deaths, Free BMD. So I will put the link in the video. So don't panic if you haven't got that. Now, another thing that has been really useful for many people when they don't have the birth certificate, or there's no one around to tell them, is to check for birth notices in newspapers, and that's right across the world. So from around about the middle 1800s, people started putting notices in the newspapers, and that was quite fashionable, and people were quite social at that time, if they could afford it. Obviously, if the family were poor and they had very little to feed themselves, let alone put a birth notice in the paper. But it's one avenue to search. And also, on the other end of that is when the family were having birthday celebrations, say they reached the age of 80, and that was considered quite an old age not so long ago. Today, many people live past 80, but at the time, in the early 1900s, for example, it was quite a novelty. So you may find some information in a regional newspaper for a citizen who was celebrating a very fine event, and that would be an 80th, a 90th, or even more special, a 100th birthday. Sadly, my relatives got to 99 and passed away. But you can also check through death notices as well. The death notices in the newspaper can give some indication on where the person came from, and some of them have even had ships that they arrived in the country where they lived, and that can be very useful. So these are lots of little bits of information, and one of the other things is the marriage certificates, marriage registrations. So have a look at them. I like to go birth, marriage, birth. So that's to check, have a rough idea about the birth. Check the marriage if you can find that. And then go back and check the birth again, because hopefully you'll have received that information. So that's one good thing. Something else that you might find is a family Bible. Now, it's not that long ago that family Bibles was probably the only way that the family, particularly the poor ones that I was talking about just a moment ago, could record their family. If they couldn't read or write, they would get someone, a relative or a person from the village that they lived in, to record that information. That wasn't unusual for them to ask someone to write it in. So hopefully the information is correct. It gives you a very good idea around about the time the person was born. And you've got to be careful. There might be some misinformation because some families were a little bit mischievous. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. And that gives you a couple of things to check. And I'm hoping that you'll feel quite enthusiastic about that. It's a really good way to get going for a very reasonable amount. You don't need to go and purchase birth certificates. Ultimately, I would recommend that you do, so that you can check thoroughly the information. And you may be surprised, you may find more family, because in some areas it was very common to list all the children born to the couple of the child that was being registered. And finally, today, I've got a special offer of a free ebook. So the free ebook is available if you go to this site, bit.ly/10DVY capital P capital L. The information is also going to appear on the video and in the transcript. And so I'd like to leave it at that for the moment. There's a lot of information that I have shared. Don't be shy. Come and visit genealogyhangout.com. Most of the information I've given you, I've got direct links on the site. So that's an added bonus for coming to that site and getting to know us. So again, the free ebook, which is all about genealogy, because that's why you're listening, watching or reading, bit.ly/10DVY capital P capital L. And that's it for today. I'm going to rest my voice and come back and see you again very soon. Bye for now. Cheers.